Welcome to Locals Only Cantina.
Mixing it up with
Brandon
and Cherie.
There we go. You done? Are you done?
Maybe.
She always makes us clap first before we start.
Do that.
What's up, guys? Hey, we're back. Another episode of Locals Only Cantina.
Yep.
And we've been a little bit busy lately, so we're doing this on a night that we don't normally do it. But we're here.
And we usually do it on this night.
Do we?
But
well, the last couple times,
we
but that's just because
last week.
We did skip a week, yeah. We still had a show because we kind of had one in reserve. Didn't you post one last week? You did, right? Yeah.
No, but this
But we were supposed to post two last week.
No, we were supposed to post one on Tuesday and it's Thursday, so we didn't post one this week, is what I'm saying.
Oh, so this will be next week.
No, let's start over.
I think it's fine. That's fine.
No.
Let's just go with it. It's all good. Point is, we're here.
Yeah.
Even though we've been busy and things have been a little bit crazy, but we're still here. So, here we go. We're going to start with a drink, and then we are going to have a little chat. Cheers. And Cherie's going to chase her shot with her vodka cran. I am too, actually.
That's a big shot.
It's a delicious shot. All right. So, what we decided we're going to talk about this week, because this is sort of how things have been for us, is life gets really busy, and you can't really let your relationship slide just because you got a bunch of shit you have to do. So we've talked about this a little bit before, we've touched on it, but we're just going to do a whole episode on making sure that you have date nights. Yeah, because date nights are cool, and they don't need to be like extravagant. You don't need to like make a big thing of them, but it's a tool that you have. It's like a tool in your quiver that you have, or your toolbox that you have, that just, it's a real simple tool just to keep everything good and keep it fresh and keep it fun, and kind of take a break too. It's a nice way to like break up the week, right? So
yeah, we always make sure that we have a date night each week, and this week we missed it.
Yeah, well, but we're gonna probably do something tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
we did miss it, but you know why we missed it? Because our daughter has a date.
Yeah, we kind of talked it. Oh yeah, we did do a podcast right after she got asked. And
well, she got asked, but in today's world, it's not like it used to be, where we just like, well, I don't know about you guys,
no.
but we never did nonsense
Brandon
like this.
Never went to high school dances.
But even though like nobody did the stuff that we do in Utah here, where they have to like do a big thing and they ask, and then like a few days after she has to answer.
Oh,
in high school, like
California thing.
No, in my high school, we just said, "Hey, you want to go to dance with me?" And hopefully they said yes, and that was it. Then you went to the dance.
Boring.
In Utah, oh, shut up. In Utah, like the dude like knocks on the door. He's got a big sign or whatever creative way he.
No, it's actually even changed a little bit from when I was a kid, also, and we used to have a little bit more fun with it. I was actually talking to my daughter about this because she's trying to figure out how to answer this guy, and I was like, yeah, you guys are kind of boring, because whenever I did it, I always wanted to have fun with it. So you would like hide your name in different stuff, and it like, so I asked this guy to a dance, and I said something like, I got like a big bowl of Swedish fish, and on one of the Swedish fish in the bowl, it was my name, and I said, out of all the fish in the sea, I want you to go with me, or something like that. And I was like, fine, look through the sea of fish to find who I am. So he had to like dig through all the fish to find my name, right? So it's kind of fun and interactive. Now, like, everybody's, like, all about the posters. And they're like, oh, are you going to go do your poster? And I'm like, how boring is that to just go do a poster? So, like, the guy, just to be creative for my answer, he did, like, this toy fishing pole or something. And he said, like, hook, line, and sinker, you got me. my answer is yes, or something like that, right? Like, so they kind of went together, but a lot of times, like, you would do things in a way to where they'd have to find the answer in something, or, you know, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just about being fun. Like,
Yeah.
it gets you out of, like, your normal zone of
I'm
being
not saying
a
it's bad. I'm
boring
just saying that's
teenager,
not
you know?
what people did
They were like, hey,
in my high school.
you want to go to the dance, huh? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
But that's scary. That can be scary for kids. Like, I literally today went through just, like, my daughter having anxiety all day, having to think about meeting the people's parents. We would just leave it on the doorstep and not have to deal with people face to face.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know the person very well and you just kind of want to ask them. That's
well,
a little
the
less
truth is I never
embarrassing.
did any of that shit because I didn't go to any high school dances. So it was a little bit different for me.
Why didn't
but
you go to high school dances? Were you
because
just
I
too
was
afraid?
shy and I was fat and I didn't think anybody would want. Actually, that's not true. I say that I was shy and I was fat, but there still were girls that liked me. I wasn't like giant fat. Let's be real. I was 30, 40 pounds overweight. But there were still girls that liked me. But I had this like delusional mindset that like Jenny McCarthy should be my date, right? And now looking back on it, I'm like, I should have just went out with these girls and like had fun and like practiced, like helped build my confidence and my self-esteem, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what I did. Plus, no, I did have a date for prom.
You did?
I did. But I was building a mountain bike at the time. I didn't just go buy the bike. I bought a frame and then I was like buying all the parts. And I thought, well, I could go to prom with this chick that I really don't like that much.
She asked you?
No, I asked her. But she was graduated. She was like a year older than me. But I thought I could take this chick to prom or I could buy a shock for my bike. And so I
asked this girl to prom
and then I bailed on her.
Bailed?
Yeah. Because I started doing the math and I'm like, I'd rather like complete my bike than go to this prom with this chick that I don't like that much.
Interesting. Poor girl. Well, I
Yeah.
guess she was out of high school. So
She was out of high
didn't
school.
care.
She really didn't care. She was just going to go with me just to go with me, I'm sure. I don't think she really liked me or anything like that. But she was a buddy of mine. But yeah, so I bailed on her so I could buy a Moss. I was going to say Mossimo. That's a clothing brand. A bomber.
Priorities.
Marzocchi
people.
bomber.
Priorities.
Marzocchi bomber was the shit at the time. If you had that on your bike, you were like fucking awesome. And it was awesome.
Did you buy it?
I did, yeah, and it was rad. My bike was the shit. And I built it ground up. It was rad. So it was. I thought that was a win for me. I still went to the parties, the prom parties.
Prom parties. What
Yeah,
does that mean?
at the hotel and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's not a Utah thing. At least I wasn't cool enough to ever go to those. So explain what that is. 'Cause I
Well,
don't
there
even
was
know what
prom
it
and
is.
then there was parties at
like
the
an
hotel.
after party
yeah.
at the hotel.
Yeah. So I just didn't go
Really?
to the dance. I just went with my friends to the hotel afterwards and partied.
Like in the room, or was there actual a party?
Lots of rooms. Like there were like the kids would book like whole floors and we would just go like room to room and just
No
party.
way.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So
I've
I didn't-
never even heard about this before.
So I didn't go to the dance, but I did go to the parties afterwards.
This is why every parent in every other state is scared to death for their child, for their girl, daughter to go to prom.
Right. Yeah.
For that exact reason.
Right. Yep.
I don't know if there's any kids, if there's any of you out there who are from Utah and you ever had that experience where you had a party at a hotel afterwards. Like, I would love to hear from you because I've never even heard of that for Utah.
Yeah. That's how it went.
That's crazy.
Lots of kids had rooms booked at this hotel, and
No
so
way.
me and
Their
my
parents
crew.
were just like, yeah, let's get you booked at this hotel.
That's how it went. That's how things were.
So crazy.
So
That's crazy to me.
me and my crew, because they didn't necessarily have dates either. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But Yeah, we just didn't go to the dance.
Would you just go party and there were probably drinks, like
Yeah.
people put,
Yeah.
like alcohol and stuff, like
alcohol, all the things. Yeah.
Holy crap, that's like a whole different world I never even knew existed.
Right.
Like you see it on movies, but you don't. Like I never even knew
That was,
it was real.
senior prom. Senior prom.
That is so crazy. The school didn't like set it. Like
the school had nothing to
room discounts or anything.
No, the school had nothing to do with it.
I just think this whole concept is so funny because I've never even heard about it before.
Yeah.
Like you see it on the movies growing up and you're like, oh, that looks like fun, right?
Yeah.
The girls are like, that looks like fun. And the guys are like, I'm going to get laid tonight.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the parents are like, you better have my daughter home at this time. And you're like, yeah, I will.
Yeah. Yep, that's how it went. So I did not attend prom. I bought a Marzocchi Bomber front fork for my bike instead, but I did go to the parties afterwards.
That is so crazy.
And it was still fun, and I saved myself a shitload of money.
Well, here's the crazy thing is like our kids nowadays, like when they date, they think that it's like a whole different world and a whole different meaning for them. And I don't know if it's like just our kids or like kids in general these days, but I know just from the things that I hear our kids say and their friends say, they think that when you date somebody, like when you take somebody out on a date, you cannot go date somebody else afterwards or else you're like cheating on them. And
they think you go on one date and you're in a relationship.
Yeah, like they feel like you have to be with that person. And I just think it's kind of a sad way of thinking that our kids think that.
Well, it's because they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, obviously.
There's other kids in their school that do it like
differently.
I'm sure of it.
Our kids are just dedicated.
They're a little different.
They really are dedicated. Maybe we're just such a strong example in their life that maybe they just want to be committed to somebody.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I never thought of it that way. Like when I started dating and I went to dances and stuff, I always thought, like most of the time I would go to dances with friends or we'd go and like I would date different people just because dating was fun. We would do group dates. And that's the one thing that I like have been trying to get our kids to be wanting to do like a little bit more is wanting to group date more because it's more fun. Like you go with your group of guys and a group of girls and you just go and you hang out and you have fun and it's not so awkward, so stressful.
Yeah.
Our kids these days have a lot of anxiety and I think that could save them from that.
Yeah.
But
maybe. It's not exactly the topic we were going to discuss, our kids' dating lives. That's pretty weird.
That's okay. That's a real topic. That's a real thing.
It is. It's a real thing that people have to
because you don't have to deal with it. I'm dealing with it right now.
I don't want to deal with it.
I'm literally like dealing with it with our kids. Like I just took our daughter shopping for a dress.
Yeah. I told her, I said, you can't buy something too skimpy because if you do, I'm going to buy one that fits me and wear it and escort you to the dance. Thankfully.
So for when you shop at certain stores, they only have one of that size.
Oh, well, I could find something somewhere. Or I'll make one for hell's sake. I don't know. Yeah. But no, the dress she got was really cute. And the boy that asked her seems like a pretty cool kid. So.
Yeah, we got sidetracked a little bit, but that's a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's a real conversation that parents think about and have, though. And I think that you and I, we're parents. We have those thoughts, those conversations.
Yeah. So the reason that we didn't record one or do our podcast this week or missed our date night is because of our kids' date.
Yeah. I was helping her pick out a dress.
We got 14 minutes of that right there. Yeah.
I like that conversation.
It was good. Yeah.
Are you bored of my conversation?
No, I'm just saying it's a little bit off topic, but that's okay though. It's still just topics, so it's fun.
No, because I think it's very much on topic because because as a young kid you learn what dating is. I mean, what we're talking about and what this whole thing is about is bringing it back to the basics, right?
Yeah.
And the things that you did when you were dating and
you
were having fun. Right?
Way to tie that in.
Yeah,
good job.
See?
Good job.
I have my ways, Brandon.
You do have your ways. That was good. So, You're not gonna like keep tying it in. You're just gonna
You
stop
said
right there.
So I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh. Is that my way of?
I was waiting for you to go because you didn't like my conversation that I was having.
No, it was good. It was a good tie-in.
No, I think that is the kind of the things that we forget, right? Like when we first start dating, we are all giddy, we're all anxious, we're all like, we all have this anxiety because we're worried about what the other person thinks. We're worried about what we're planning. We're worried about like all the little things that go into making that date happen. And I think like when you get older and you start to date your spouse, when you keep dating your spouse, if you're doing it right.
Sometimes you've stopped and you need to start again.
No, that's the whole reason for this conversation,
That's
right?
right. Yep.
Is because there's so many of us out there who just get caught up in life and we let it keep carrying on week to week, month to month, year to year. And then you find yourself in a spot where you're not even dating the person that you're married to, that you fell in love with, and then you find yourself falling out of love with that person. And so I think really like how this all ties in is you should kind of have those same types of feelings. Of course, they're not going to be as anxious and weird as they were when you were first dating, but you should still put as much effort and desire into those nights. And I mean effort and desire meaning like don't go out on a date in sweats or like frumpy clothes. Like go out on a date and dress up and have fun.
Yeah.
Really like kind of do something special for each other before you go on the date, or like make it just as special as you would back then.
But even if you don't though, right? Even if you just get the hell out of the house and you're still in your workout clothes, or you're still in your...
What are you trying to say? Is there something wrong with my workout
There's
clothes?
nothing wrong with your workout clothes. They fit you fantastically.
Sorry.
No, but I'm just
mostly
saying...
mostly what I own right now because I work for an active work
I ain't
company.
bitching. I'm not bitching. They look good. You find a guy that doesn't like yoga pants, that dude is not into girls anyways. Maybe he likes dudes in yoga pants. I don't know. Maybe. Not to be offensive to dudes that like dudes in yoga pants, but...
to each their own.
To each their own. That's just not me. That's good. Anyways, I'm just saying, like, even if you don't dress up, or even if you don't, like, you just like, okay, we're gonna like, it's still better than what most people do. Yeah. Most people just freaking stop, right? Like, I have this, I guess you call him a mentor, but it's this group I'm in, and there's one thing I listened to. He said, listen, a friggin' peanut butter and jelly sandwich with your lover once a week is better than not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
Just like, because it's about the conversation, it's about the talks, it's just about spending time, right? Like by yourself. So you get away from the kids for a bit, you do your thing, maybe you go on a hike, maybe you go out to eat. Like, they don't need to be extravagant, but they are cooler though. It is more fun if you like dress up and like go out and enjoy the night. But even if you don't, it still is better than what most people do.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think like the level that I'm taking it to is it's all about baby steps, right? Like in creating those habits, right?
Yeah.
If you are out of the habit of going on a date with each other, if you just don't do it anymore, then the first baby step is to just make the time to do it. And even if you have young kids at home and your date night consists of putting them to bed and having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the
or going out in the backyard and making s'mores or some shit like that, right?
It could be super easy like that, right? Because it depends on where you're at in your life. Like, we're super busy right now, but our kids are older. So when we do have a date night set apart, we can actually go out on a date. That doesn't always happen for you if you have a younger kid. Yeah,
usually it does for us, and we've just made our day like Wednesday, and it's cool because it like breaks up the week. And I think this week was the first Wednesday that we didn't in a long time.
Yeah. But we're gonna make up for it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think it's all about those baby steps, though. Is it's like, okay, if we get out of the habit of it, if you've gotten out of the habit of it, it's so much easier than you think to get back in the habit of it. And it's just about making that time to set that time apart, right? So take it as easy as you need to take it, right? If you don't have any date night planned, then just start planning a date night. Maybe it's only an hour on a Tuesday or an hour on a Thursday, you know, and just set that time apart for you guys, especially if your kids are younger, because it is so important, especially if you have a wife who's a stay-at-home mom who is constantly just at home with the kids and dealing with the kids all day. And you come home from work, you guys are on totally different like wavelengths, and that's the only way for you guys to reconnect and give your wife even an opportunity to have a conversation with an adult and how important that is to her. You men will never know how important that is. And she's looking forward to that moment to have a regular conversation and to just like feel like herself again. Yeah. So I think that's like really important. But if you're already past that level, like say you do make the weekly thing where you guys go out on a date, but sometimes like we've been in the mode of like where we've gone out on dates and we just fight every time we would go out on a date.
Not every time.
Not every time, but we would.
There's been some times we could go out on a date and she says some wild ass shit and picks a fight with me. And I'm like, I'm trying to make this fun and you're just refusing to make this fun. I don't know why you even brought that up.
No, but the reason why I was bringing it up, there was a reason.
Okay.
Are you ready for my reason?
Sure. Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're going to start a fight right now?
Yeah, go get the boxing gloves. I'm ready.
Yeah, all right.
I'll take you on.
My bag's right there on the chair. I just got home from the gym.
Okay, well, you put it on your left hand. I'll put it on my right hand.
Okay.
You're probably still way stronger than me.
Either way.
Probably you are.
Either way, whichever.
No, but
I kickbox. I can use my feet too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like kickboxing actually.
My left foot upside that side of your face right there.
Why would you want to do that to
I
me?
don't want to. Anyways.
No, my whole point in saying that is like sometimes you get in the mode of getting on a date, but it's not an actual date because you're using it to complain about each other, or you're using it to complain about the kids, or you're using it to get through an argument that you had earlier, or maybe you're just pissed off at each other and you still go out on your date anyway. Definitely make that happen. You know, like get yourself still out on that date. But maybe even like in those moments, take a pause and say, hey, I know we're like kind of at each other, but let's make this date night a real date night. And that's how you can kind of bring it back to the two of you and where you can both be on the same page. And I think it like, for me, like, when we would go on those dates, when we would have arguments or whatever, like I've decided like as we go out on dates that I just like, okay, we're just gonna make sure it's all about us and the fun times that we have instead of discussing things that we might be bugged at each other about, you know?
Yeah.
Like make it about the fun that you can have together.
Right.
But anyway, that's where I was going with that.
And you know how those dates end? Makeup sex.
Wow.
See? It's the fix for everything. And if you haven't made up yet and you don't have makeup sex, the anger bang's fun too.
Yeah.
Right?
That's if you're the type of couple that will like let it get to that point, because there's not everybody that does that.
Maybe they ought to. It's a fun thing to do.
Time out, anger bang, let's
go.
go.
That's right.
That's when you get out the boxing gloves.
It fixes most things. Yeah, it's a good time. Anyways, I wasn't really thinking about going out on dates and trying to fight, but apparently Cherie was. So, you
think
sort of
like,
made me lose track of my thought.
No, because I think
things.
like for me, like especially in years prior, like when I've worked at home for a while, you know, and you were out doing your thing, and when we come together, it was like our time to discuss like everything that we needed to discuss, right? And that's what I'm saying is like maybe saving that for another time and just saying, okay, we're taking a break from regular parenting issues, regular like household issues, regular like those things.
Just go out and eat your fucking chicken wings and drink your beer and just have a good time.
Yeah, and kind of like use that time to like flirt a little bit and have fun conversations, and don't leave the date night as the only time that you come together and you discuss everything that bugs you about each other.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, I'd say most of the time when we go out, it's kind of like, shit, she's been working all day. I get home late half the time. And we're just like lucky to get to a local brewery or restaurant or something like that. And that's awesome still. We still have fun, right? Some of the times, though, we go downtown Salt Lake, find a cool restaurant. Like we did this a couple weeks ago. She's like, I don't really care where we go. I just want to be outside.
Yeah.
So we went to this club called Gracie's, and we sat outside on the porch, the deck outside. It was nice and warm and beautiful.
It
and
was amazing.
Surrounded by high-rise buildings and music, and I ate some fish tacos. We had some drinks, and it was a great time.
Yeah.
You don't always have to do that, though. After that, we went dancing for like a half an hour.
We both had to be up early the next day. So
but we still went, though, is the thing,
hour
right?
Dancing.
So we like to country dance, and we got this bar in, it's not in Salt Lake, it's called West Valley. It's just outside Salt Lake. We go to this country bar called the Westerner, and there's a live band, and they do country swing and line dancing. They got a mechanical bull, karaoke. They got like 4 bars. It is dope. We have a great time there. It's redneck as fuck, but it's awesome. And we went there for like a half an hour, but we actually ran into some people that we kind of knew and hung out with them for a bit. And then we're like, okay, well, it's getting a little bit later. I told Shri I'm going to keep you up for another hour and a half when we get home. So do you want to leave now, or do you want to stay up real late? And she said, let's leave now.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Is that how it happened?
That is how it went down. That's right.
That's pretty much true.
But it was like, again, we don't need to like shut down the bar. We don't need to stay till it closes, right? Just like go out and have some fun and do your thing.
No, I got my fills. Like, here's the thing with the way that our relationship works, and there's probably a lot of you who can relate to this, because there may be some of you who either work from home, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, and Brennan's out working, and then I'm here at home, and I'm just like, I just need to get out of the house. Like, I just need to go somewhere out of the city that we live in, because we live kind of in an area where you have to go.
I don't know that you can call this a city.
Well,
pretty small town.
Yeah, so like I definitely feel the need to get out and do something every now and again. But again, like what we're saying though, you know, like that was not some big extravagant thing. Like we just went to dinner where we could sit outside. Yeah. And we can do that at our local brewery. And we could even, I mean, we live in an area where we have a lake where we can just like take a picnic dinner. We could go.
And we've done that before too. There's a snow cone shack at the lake, and we don't have a lot of time. We just want to go really close. We go get a fucking snow cone and sit on the lawn by the lake and just talk, right?
Yeah.
Next time we need to bring rum to put in the snow cones, but we
decided.
Yeah.
We need the little like out of state like little shot things that you can buy at the gas station.
Shots of rum, yeah. That's what we need for the snow cones next time.
But that night, like I think we talked about this before, but maybe this was one we didn't air, but like we one day just took our bikes and went for a bike ride, and we ended up at the lake where we bought the snow cones, and it's just about the time that you spend together and bringing it back to you guys.
And one rad night we had too was I got home and Sheree said, what are we going to do? And I threw a couple things in the truck, and I said, just get in the truck and just go for a drive with me. We found a dirt road. There's some really cool mountains right beside us, and I brought some firewood and lighter and some brats and some chairs, and we just went up and sat on the side of the hill and just had a freaking campfire and
oh my gosh, that was actually probably my favorite date night we've had in a long time. Like,
that was fun, huh?
we've done a lot of fun things, but I mean, that was one of my favorites this summer that we've done.
Except for I thought I was gonna take her to one spot, and I sort of like forgot where the spot was. So we ended up like four-wheeling around in the truck for a long time before we finally found a spot that I wasn't really looking for. It was like, okay, fine, fuck it, we're gonna just park right here and do this thing. But it was still dope, right? You know.
It was a cool spot.
Yeah.
It was definitely like, we'll post some pictures of it because it actually was. It was a blast. Like,
Yeah.
I am kind of a country girl at heart, so I love
And
that
boys
kind of stuff.
that have trucks that never take them off road, your wives will think it's hot when you finally take them off road. Just
Unless she's scared.
saying it.
Of that
No,
kind of stuff.
well, the scare. No, but the scariness is part of the coolness, right?
Yeah, like, it's kind of funny because I never thought my mom would like doing the off-roading thing, and then you took her off-roading. And
Oh
she was
my
like,
gosh,
that was so much fun.
That was rad. We need to talk about that real quick. So we were in Hawaii, okay? So we had this Jeep out there, and it was a third row Jeep. It was a Jeep Commander, so it fit a bunch of people in it. Her mom and dad and sister came out to see us for a week out there, and out there there's beaches that are only accessible by like 4-wheel drive. And so I had a couple days off work, and Sheree took a couple days off work, and I was a tour guide. So I was like, well, I'm just going to take you guys on a tour around the whole island. Instead of one day, we're going to make it 2. We're going to see everything, right? So we went to the green sand beach down by South Point on the big island, and Sheree's mom was a blast. It was so much fun. But
she'd never really been off-roading before.
No.
I don't think she ever did, actually.
It was rad. I thought my mom would have shit her pants. She would have walked home. She would not have stayed in that Jeep. No.
I think she would have enjoyed it.
No,
more
I don't
than
think
you
so. But we got down in the spot, and there was like multiple ways, but I like to have fun, right? So we got down in the spot where I go down to this thing, and I have to come up, like climb up this hill. It was big, like ruts and everything. And I get to this point where the front passenger side wheel lifts way up off the ground, and the Jeep's like pointed straight up in the air. And then I get to the point where it just teeters back and forth, where only like 2 wheels are on the ground. And I just hit the brakes, and I let it just kind of teeter there. I thought for sure she was going to like just freak out. That was her favorite part of the whole trip. It was so funny to me.
So fun.
She had a scab on her arm because she was holding on to the side of the thing so tight. But she was scared to death, but she loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
My mom would have got out of the car and walked home from there.
See, you just proved yourself wrong. Not every woman might like it.
Right. The ones that are cool will, though.
No, I think that like it's when you haven't experienced something like that before, and you can take it to a fun level.
My mom might have thought it was cool after the fact.
I
think during it, she would have been really bitching at me. She might have had a few things to say. Your mom just sat there like frozen, but afterwards thought it was awesome too, though.
Yeah, it was a really fun day.
It was fun.
But
yeah, use your off-road vehicles, your trucks, your Jeeps, your stuff like that. That's what they're meant for. And your wives will think it's cool. For the most part. There might be some that don't.
But kind of part of like what we wanted to talk about is there's so many things out there that tell you that you have to do this, you have to do that, right? And sometimes you get in your head that like you have to have this amazing date planned, or you've got to spend so much money for it to be anything worth doing. But really it's just taking it back to the basics.
Just sometimes some redneck shit is good enough. Some brats and a 4-wheel drive.
Well, too, like, think about, I mean, it does matter on the woman. Not every woman's gonna like a 4-wheel drive and brats.
No.
There are some girls that do want to have the extra money to spend, but...
No, but you can do that. So I'm just saying that every single time doesn't have to be like that.
No, but if she's that type of a girl, instead of going out to the mountains with some brats, you go up to a lookout point and you bring some wine or some apple cider.
Yeah, you can adjust, I guess.
Yeah, like you kind of adjust it to what your spouse loves, You know, I'm a little bit more of a country girl, so I like that kind of stuff. But like, it's so simple just to spend that time together. And I think like we think that it has to be this big elaborate thing, or it's got to be this big expensive thing. And guess what? The things that usually cost the less amount of money are the things that you remember the most, because it's an adventure that you get to take together. And sometimes you don't even know where that adventure is going to take you. Like when we went to go four-wheeling ourselves and you didn't know where the spot was, like we just kept going, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was just so fun, right?
There was one point where I was like dragging freaking branches down the side of the truck, and she was all freaking out. But there was a cliff on this side, and I said something. I forget what it was exactly, but better to have a few scratches down the side of your truck than fall off a cliff, is what most people say, or something like that. I thought it was clever at the time, and Shree laughed and thought it was funny.
I think it was a bit more poetic.
It was more poetic at the time. I just don't remember exactly.
But I think those adventures, it's all about your journey together, right? And the whole point of this is just that sometimes your journey can stop, and it only stops if you allow it.
Let it stop.
So don't ever let it stop. Make sure that you have those opportunities every week. Make sure that you take time out for each other and do the things. And kind of like what we said in other episodes, where you flirt with each other a little bit before you go out on your date night, so you're kind of excited to go out and just be together.
And people will say some dumb shit like this. I was like, oh, we got too much stuff with the kids. We got to do this with the kids. We got to do that with the kids. Guess what? When your kids grow up, they will have memories based on what you've done. And the memories that you want your kids to have is, my parents always made time to go out and spend time together as a couple, because that will teach them to do the same thing with their spouse.
Yeah. That's like one of the things, like our kids know like that we have a date night once a week, and they actually look forward to it. They're at the age now where
it makes me trust them less, that they're so excited for us to leave.
Well, the good thing about the boy that our daughter is kind of hanging out with is that he lives far away and they don't drive.
Right, that's true.
So there's sneaking in.
I'm just saying, when we come home, they're like, you guys are going to go on a date, right? And they're like stoked for us to leave. I'm like,
they're so excited because it means we're not going to be home telling them to do chores and do those things.
Actually, I think what it is most of the time when we go out, we get them pizza, and they're just excited to have
That's
pizza.
True. Pizza and a movie. We're like, pick a movie on the TV, and we'll get some pizza. And they love having that. So that's another thing, make it fun for the kids too.
Yeah.
And again, if your kids are younger and you just are like, oh, the kids are just so hard, I'm exhausted by the end of the day. If all that you have left to give at the end of the day is to put your kids to bed,
lock the little bastards out of your room, and just watch a show at least, right?
Yeah, just make that moment still happen. Like, that's all you really have to do. And how, like, I think we talked about this a little bit before whenever we did, but like the fun part, like as a kid, I remember because my parents, definitely could never bring a guy back to my house, right? And so when I would go on dates and a guy would bring me home from a date, we would sit out in the car and we'd be talking and we might have started kissing or whatever, right? And my dad would come out and take one bag of garbage out to the dumpster. Put it in the dumpster.
You had a dumpster?
Well, okay, not a dumpster.
You guys were hardcore.
Words mean things, Brandon.
Trash can, not the dumpster.
So we had not a dumpster, it was a trash can. I'm sure y'all knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the garbage was out front, and my dad would come out and put garbage in there, right? And he would stare us down as he'd walk back in the house, right? You go back in the house, we'd start talking again, maybe start kissing a little bit
and
more.
He's in there like filling trash bags up with your shit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Throwing your stuff away.
He's like opening the trash can inside, and he's like filling up like 3 pieces of garbage, and he's like, gotta take another load out, right? And then he would come take another, like, he'd come through like out to the trash like 5 times until finally he would knock on the window, or he would just
I wouldn't
give me a
even
look, right?
do that. I'd just be like, if you're parked out here, your date's done. Get your ass inside.
But he at least like gave me that privacy in that respect. That's an important thing, Brandon.
Well,
it is.
To all the little boys out there listening that want to take my daughters out on a date, if you're going to make out, do it like several blocks away. Because if you're in front of my house, date's over. She's going to come
Don't be telling them that.
I'm just saying. If you're parked on my curb, date's over. Get your ass in the house.
What else I used to do? This is the problem with that. Is we would go to parks and we'd make out at the park.
Well, at least I don't have to see it then.
Oh, wow.
Your dad, you were forcing your poor dad to see it.
He wasn't seeing it.
If I was him, I would have made your ass go inside.
But anyway, my whole point in telling that story is when you're a kid, you're hiding from your parents. But when you become an adult, when you become a parent, you have to start hiding from your kids, right? And how much more fun is it when you can hide from your kids and you either escape and you go on a date, or maybe you like put them in front of a movie and you just have a quiet moment together in your room or in the den or wherever you're going to like have that special moment that you guys can be together. It is very possible. It's very possible. It's only not possible if you choose not to make it happen. And it's all about habits, right? It's about like everything you do in your life are about the habits that you create for yourself. And that's a habit that is very important to keep your relationship going.
Yeah. And back to the whole like tool thing, right? So like tools are made for certain things. They're like very specific, right? I don't have any tools. So I got this right here. I got a big old freaking butcher knife. Sheree has a middle finger fork there. This is for something, right? I use this when I'm doing like barbecue. This is for like freaking bone separation, right? Has a specific.
That's a pretty badass
purpose.
Knife.
It is a badass.
Someone really cool must have got
check that thing
you.
out. Yeah, it is dope. It's a Dow Strong Gladiator series. It's awesome, right? But it's a tool. It's for a specific purpose, right? And I would say that date night for your marriage is for a specific purpose, and it's to keep your marriage fresh. It's to keep it good. It's to keep it good. A screwdriver, right, has a specific purpose. It's built to fit certain things. I got all these sockets in my toolbox out there. They're very specific. They're all different sizes. They only fit certain size things, right? To go back to the tool thing, your date night is your number one tool. Very specific purpose to keep things fresh, to keep things fun, to keep things not mundane and boring, keep things exciting, and
it doesn't take a power tool to do it. It might take just as well.
You might need your power tool when you get home afterwards.
We've talked about this before.
You got your 2-stroke little.
Oh yeah.
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 Do
Pull start. Mm-hmm. Do I have it? It's not mine.
Oh.
It's yours.
Oh, it's mine. Oh, okay.
Zing, ding, ding, ding. No, so you may, not that you need it, but hell, they can be fun. I'm just saying, it's a tool. Like it's the tool. It's the tool, right? Like if you need one tool, your go-to tool, right? It's like a crescent wrench, right? Adjustable wrench. It fits all the nuts and all the bolts, right? This is your like crescent wrench for your marriage, your adjustable tool for your marriage. You can do things different. You don't have to do the same thing each time, but it definitely accomplishes the same purpose. It keeps things fresh. It keeps it new. It keeps it exciting. It keeps it fun. It keeps your sex life good because you're probably more likely to want to come home after a nice date night, get it on. And I mean, hopefully you do it more often than just on your date nights, unless you do date nights every night, right? But a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people live in marriages where sex is pretty few and far between.
Well, too, if you are a couple that even on your date night, you come home, you're like, oh, I'm too tired to have sex.
Oh, baloney.
Here's the thing, is you're always going to be too tired.
Drink a Red Bull and do what you need to do.
Really? You're going to be that blunt?
Yes, I will be that blunt, because I am that blunt.
No, but
Don't drink a Red Bull right before bed because then
No.
you'll be up all night long.
No,
That's stupid.
that sounds awful.
But seriously, rally. Do what you need to do because that's about you too, right?
Yeah, so here's the thing, like, that is a very important part of your relationship. And I, more than anything, know how tiring it can be. Like, this whole week, I've worked, like, 12 to 14-hour days. And it's been super exhausting. And the crazy thing about it is it doesn't need to, you don't need to, I don't even know what I'm saying because I hear our son home.
She just got distracted because our son just came home.
I was going to talk about sex and I didn't want to talk about sex because I just...
He's still outside.
It just distracted me for a little bit.
He and I have been like restoring this car for him and it's real loud. I'm sure the neighbors love it.
Anyways, what I was going to say is make that an important part of your date night. Make that an important part of your week because that is one of the things in your relationship, one of the most important things to take you from being a roommate, like we've talked about before, to being partners and to being closer together. When you were younger and you were dating or maybe when you first got married, you couldn't wait to rip each other's clothes off. You can only make that happen for yourselves again by doing those things. You can't not do those things and expect them to get better.
Right.
How's it going, babe?
It's good. No, agreed. Just do the things.
Yeah.
You know, we love this show. It's called Meet the Jones, or is it Keeping Up with the Joneses? No, Meet the Joneses. The ones with
Meet the Joneses.
Not the one where they like buy all the shit, but it's the Zach Galifianakis show.
Yeah.
Meet the
Joneses.
Yeah. And their kids go off to like summer camp, and they have this like moment where they walk into the house and they're alone.
Well, they're hanging out with their friends, and they're like, I know what you're gonna do. The kids are out of the house, right? And they're like, you're gonna like have a fun night, right? And they're like all teasing them and everything.
And then they go in the house, they're alone, and all of a sudden they have this like
epiphany or this moment of
right. Well, it shows them start to like get stuff going, and they're getting it on hot and heavy and everything. And then there's candles, and they kick one over, and the whole house burns down, right? And then what you see is that it was just like their thoughts, and they're like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, well let's watch Netflix or something like that instead, right? Don't be that person. Yeah. No, do it.
Kick the candles over.
Kick the fucking candles
Burn
over.
the house down.
Yeah,
right?
well, for my son that might have heard that out there because she said that real loud, don't burn the house down. It's a bad plan.
No.
But have some fun. Do the things.
Yeah,
right?
have some fun because the most important thing about having fun as a couple and going and making those date nights happen is when the kids grow up and they get out of the house, you're going to be empty nesters. And if you don't know how to be together without the kids there, if you haven't figured it out with the kids there, you're not going to be able to figure it out without.
And here's the deep, dirty secret of it all. Even people that don't necessarily want, like they're not the ones that are like trying to get things started all the time, deep down they want it.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it, somebody else might someday. I don't know that marriages last a real long time without that.
Well, they definitely aren't going to be fun. And if you want to take your relationship to the next level, instead of
50% in divorce, and about 50% of people either have had affairs or are having affairs, right? And women want it just as bad as men do. We're just slightly different in the way that we do things, right? Women want the guy to initiate.
Initiate, keep it hot, keep it sexy, keep it like interesting, and keep it fun together.
Yeah.
Don't be asking for it. Make it happen because
be
you're
like,
turning her on.
Don't be like, baby, can we please? That's not hot.
Well,
no?
two. I mean, one like one of the great parts too is that you're showing your kids an example of what it's like to have a relationship. And if you don't show that love to each other, and not like that part of it.
She's
well,
going
I
a little
just
bit
took
weird.
it to a whole different level, and I
whole
totally sorry.
We're not gonna show them that.
No.
Although we do make out in front of them sometimes, they think it's gross. But someday they'll be
we
like,
don't really make out. We kiss in front of them.
But
we're not like having a full on makeout message.
Message.
That's
Session.
Session. There we go. Not a message. It's not a text message.
I think Cherie's vodka cran was mixed a little bit strong.
They made him eat enough.
Maybe not. No, so I mean, a little PDA here and there, but
no, really what I mean by that is like we'll have times in our house where we'll turn the music on and we'll dance and we'll flirt and we'll hug each other, we'll give each other a kiss, and that we are not shy about showing that type of affection, not making out or anything beyond that. But they can see the fact that we love each other, and we do that because we love each other. We're not doing it because we're trying to show them something. It's just
natural.
You show your kids by your actions what it's like to have a relationship, and that's very important. There's so many kids out there who have parents who are fighting, who just stay together for the kids, and they're just in this awful, toxic household and relationship when they should totally end it because they're teaching their children that that's what relationships are. Mm-hmm. And they're teaching future generations that that's the way life should be. And their kids are going to end up not wanting to get married. They're going to end up treating their spouse the same way. They're going to end up like having these bad relationships or maybe wanting something completely opposite than what their parents had, hopefully,
Totally.
But why not teach our families to be able to love each other and have a great relationship? And things aren't always going to be perfect with Brandon and I. Like, we're not always like 100% all the time, but
I'm
probably
perfect all the time, just not her.
Probably like 40% he's good and I'm like 90% not. No. Right?
Math.
No. No, I'm saying 40% of your 100. I'm 90% of my 100.
Oh,
they're different.
yeah.
100%.
Oh, I see.
No, but I mean, be a good example for your kids. Show them that relationships can be amazing, and even though you have hard times, because our kids see our hard times, they've been around us when we've had hard times.
Yeah.
But when we stick it through, when we make it through those hard times, when we can take our relationship to the next level all the time, it shows our kids that it's something that they want to have and to look for that in another partner.
Yeah.
And I think that's the end goal with being a parent, is being able to show them that they can have that. And an end goal as a couple is, guess what? Your kids aren't always going to be in the picture. They're going to one day grow up and move out of the house, and it's going to be the two of you. And you don't want to be looking at each other at the end of the day and being like, okay, end of the day.
Nope.
See you tomorrow.
What you want is naked party. Kids are out.
Yeah, we're going to have to
crazy.
I told my kids they're going to have to call us when they move out because their dad's going to be a nudist, I think. I don't know. Sorry to Brandon's mom and dad.
Dad? My dad didn't hear that.
No, well, he might not.
I don't know. Maybe up there.
I meant my mom and dad.
If he's listening up there, he's seen a whole lot and heard a whole lot more than he ever wanted to. So hopefully he's not. But anyways, I think we probably have covered everything.
Yeah.
Seriously though, have fun. Don't stop the fun stuff, right? Don't forget why you got married. Keep it fresh. Keep it fun. And even if it's scheduled, on one hand, you might think if we have date night every Wednesday, that's scheduled, it's less fun. It's more fun than not. to do it at all, right? So
no, it's 100%.
And it's dope.
150% fun because
it is, because you know why? Wednesday come, and instead of it just being Wednesday, you're like, sweet, it's
Yeah.
Wednesday. We're gonna go have some fun tonight.
You get to break it up and do
Yeah.
something different.
It's like Friday, but sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's early Friday.
Make it happen and make it happen often
And end it with a bang. Yeah, end it with a bang.
That might have to be your new slogan.
End it with a bang. I like it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I think that was fun.
All right.
Cheers.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.
See you next time. Then the next time after. Eventually, Shree's gonna just turn this off so you won't hear me speaking anymore. Peace out.
See ya.